Nice to see you. Some of you I have seen already because I've been outside with a little tour of the canal. It's so beautiful this morning. Everybody is out on the towpath, but we are inside and we are going to get stuck straight into our painting today because we have a lot to do. You might not think it because we're doing the detail silhouetted layer, but actually when I've done this in the past, this layout took a really long time. So what we're doing today is we're going to give today a theme, and the theme of today is stay in the creative zone. And that's what I'm going to call the detail painting from now on, because I think doing the detail layer is maybe a little bit overwhelming or intimidating sometimes. I've talked about this before. I talked about it last week when we did the detail of the sunflower, that you sometimes feel that the detail layer, the end of the painting, either makes or breaks the painting or the drawing. And back in the day when we used to develop our own photos, it would be that moment of developing that would show you whether or not you had a good photo. But there were things you could do with your photography. You could push and pull the image. You could, and the same with drawing. You can erase, you can draw over. And with watercolor, I want to make sure that we stay in the creative zone and we have a journey and we discover how it's going to look together, so that we're not putting all this pressure on the outcome, but we're just going to see what happens. Okay, so here we go. I've got my gouache, and good morning again. If I don't say good morning to you, it's just because I forget. But morning, Pauline. I've got my gouache. It's a super cheap gouache set that you get from, you know, those shops that have like all the books and everything for sale. Somebody just got it for me as a present one year, and so I'm not recommending this brand, but because it's the brand that I have, and I'm one of those people that doesn't like to buy things before they've used everything. This is the gouache, but usually I would buy Winsor and Newton gouache. I just haven't been able to bring myself to doing it. Just move out slightly. Okay, so we're going in with some black gouache. If you don't have black gouache, you can go in with black watercolor, and then if the watercolor is too transparent in the end, you can go over it with a pen, with an ink pen, or you can go over it with a black pencil. So you can do things to darken it. Don't get really stressed if the first time you do the black watercolor layer it turns out to be too light. But the gouache, as we talked about yesterday with the white gouache, the black gouache should be the same. It will not let a lot of light through. It's in the watercolor family. It's water soluble, but it's not transparent. It's more opaque. And again, this is not a high quality gouache, so it is a little bit transparent. But you get a better one for yourselves. Okay. So here we go. This is the lovely bit that we're going to make around here. If you go to Unsplash and type in galaxy picture with trees, you will see a plethora of images that you can use. And so I'm just going to take a little nod to Unsplash, and I'm going to go in with some trees over this side and a little bit of trees over that side, and you'll see what I mean. But also if you do go to Unsplash, see if you can work out which picture I used. There are some really great ones on Unsplash. I'm actually thinking about doing some more, because there were some really lovely ones with roads and houses, and I was thinking, oh, that's a really great adaptation. And that's why us spending this time together is so important, because we're learning a technique and then we're practicing that technique so that we become skillful at it. It becomes a skill, and then we are practicing that skill, getting better and better, or more confident, or making decisions and learning from those decisions. And then you circle back around to it. You circle back to the technique and you think, oh, and back there again, and each time you circle back to it, you just get better and better and better, or more confident, we should say. And that is that's the exact reason why I'm turning up every day, and the exact reason why I put my course together yesterday, because while we've got this movement, while we're still using the energy of creating, because creativity is energy, it's lovely energy and it feels nice, and it, you know, hopefully you get into flow and you're flowing with the paint and the ideas. While we're at that state, it's easier for us as people to continue. And what I don't want to happen is I don't want you to stop, because you've already done so much. You've already decided this is what you want to do. You're already using your energy to be a creative person, and putting a stop to that is, I just would hate that to happen, which is why I did the course together, because I thought if I can give you a little course and have these watercolor prompts and these lessons. And what I forgot to say yesterday about the course was that the access is unlimited. So you might be thinking, oh, well, I've got Christmas to plan. But actually you could just do the course in the new year. You can do the course whenever you like. You could gift the course to a friend if you've got somebody staying for Christmas and you're worried what to do with them. So just kind of think about the energy that you've used with your creativity so far, and think about it like the Couch to 5K, if you know what that is. And it's that kind of thing. Well, once you've already started and agreed to kind of do the Couch to 5K, you really don't want to stop halfway through, because you've already put all this effort in. And I kind of want you to think about that with your creativity as well. No matter what else is, things are always going to pop up. There's always going to be a Christmas. There's always going to be a pandemic. There's always going to be something. Things are always going to pop up. But what you've started is a creative journey, because you believe that creativity is what you need in your life right now. And I think that I just really, really, really want you to keep going. It's just, I feel like it's so important. It's so important for your mental health, and it's also a really great thing to communicate about with other people, because it's just such a lovely thing to get into a group. And just what I love about the Facebook group is that people are sharing their paintings or their experiments or things that they've done, and it's so positive. Like, we all get to see that from each other, and that's just such a lovely thing. So that's just I don't know if you can see my cat, who has decided that she just doesn't know who I'm speaking to, and I should just be speaking to her. So excuse me. So yeah, continue being creative in whatever form. And if you are saving up all these live tutorials, I'm not taking them off the group. I know sometimes other people, when they do tutorials for free like this, they will take them off the group eventually, because they don't want to, give everything away. But in my case, I want to leave them here, because I just think that we've spent such a great time together. But also, in a couple of months, you might be thinking, oh, what was that galaxy painting or the sunflower painting or something like that? And it'd just be so nice for you to have access to that, to go back through and watch it. Such a sticky beak. There's a boat passing by. So what I'm doing is some trees in the foreground here, just the front row of trees, and I'm kind of trying to make them curve a little bit, and I'm starting with a triangle, and just from practice I've noticed that the silhouettes look better if they're not so painterly. if they look a little bit more crisp. So I'm trying to I'm using a smaller paintbrush. This is a 0. I go through paintbrushes quite quickly, so this is one of my newer 0s. It's got a really nice brush on it, and I'm trying to make it so that the edge of the tree branches are crisp as opposed to spindly or more painterly. I don't want it to look kind of dry. You can see here on the edges of these ones. Let me zoom you in. Just want to show you what I mean. Here, can you see this bit here is more jagged? And what I found is that if you make them less jagged and finish them off nicely so that they are more finished, they actually end up looking better. Right, I'm just going to zoom out again. So if I give you motion sickness then. Okay. So I'm taking them around this way. I'm going quite slow with it because it's the detail layer, and I just want to kind of get my tree placement where I need it. And then I'm going to do a couple over this side. And this is also the reason you'll see that with my painting I left the horizon section a little bit lighter, because I wanted the black to pop. The great thing about the gouache as well is if you have to go back over it to make it a little bit darker, as I said, this isn't an expensive gouache, so it's not very opaque. It's not going to come up when you go over it when it's dry. Whereas if you're using black watercolour, that's fine. Just be aware that when you go over it again later to darken the layer, if you've got a bit of transparency, it possibly will lift up the previous layer. So you've just got to go in with less water and more layers. I don't know if you've noticed yet, but watercolor painting is a lot about layers and reworking things. I was actually watching a tutorial last night of some pencil drawing, and the artist who was teaching the tutorial, she said about reworking the pencil layer, and I thought, oh man, isn't that just a true statement about no matter what kind of creative endeavor that you're on, painting, oils, acrylics, it's just always about revisiting the layer. And I think school has a lot to do with our misinformation. And I was a teacher for 15 years, so I'm not bagging the education system or children, but I think school has a lot to kind of answer for as far as painting goes, because often in some schools the painting process has to be done in 50 minutes. That's the time of the lesson. And children don't always get taught to spend a whole term or semester on one project and rework it. Like, you know, if you've ever done any teaching and you've tried to get kids to rework stuff, we just don't practice it with them, and you end up with children who look at other people who have kind of got the concept really quickly without having to practice, without having to do a multiple amount of passes at it. And then some children just give up because they're like, well, I didn't get it right the first time. And to be skillful at art, you need to get things right the first time. Well, I'm here to tell you that if I had to get things right the first time, then I wouldn't be sitting here as an art teacher, because I'm not a very quick learner. It takes a while for things to kind of register in my head. about how things work. Now I'm just trying to think about whether or not to put in the extra layer of trees behind it. I might just do a couple of spindly ones back here because, again, we're all friends now. You know that I can overwork my paintings. This is the reason you do your star layer before your tree layer because you can paint over your stars now because the trees are in front of them, and that just ends up looking really great. When I've done these paintings in the past, I've actually gone back after it's dried. Here's a trick. What you want to do is you want to, when you're at the point of your galaxy painting where you think that it might be done, you're not sure because you've spent a lot of time with detail work, you spend a lot of time really closely looking at it. So here's the tip. What you want to do is you want to put your painting somewhere in your house or boat that you don't expect to see it. And then later, so like I usually, because the boat's not very big, I usually just put it over here on the dinette and leave it facing up as though it was finished. And then later, when you're walking around doing things, you'll glance it, you'll see it out the corner of your eye, and you'll actually look and you'll do one of two things. You'll look and you'll go, oh, wow, that's better than I remember, hopefully. Or you'll look and you'll go, oh, that's not balanced, or oh, I've got to just finish this one thing, or I thought it was going to look more concave, and you'll start to problem solve when you accidentally catch your brain out. Whereas at the moment, because you're in the creative zone, you're in the flow, you're kind of problem solving, you're moving the black paint around, you can't always get that sneaky glance at the painting. So today, what I want you to do after you've done your layer is put it somewhere around your place and just accidentally glance it sometime today. Let me know in the comments as well. Come back to this post, please, and let me know if it took you by surprise, if you were accidentally like, oh. That's the first thing I wanted to say. The second thing I wanted to say is the thing that really makes your paintings, it really elevates your paintings, is putting a frame on them. And I'm not saying go to a framer's and spend hundreds of pounds. Go to like a cheap shop in England. Like in Australia, we have the reject shop. I'm not sure if it's still there, but it's called the reject shop. Or like it's cheap. And get just a really standard frame. Like just get a really like a nice standard white frame or a black frame, and put the work you've just done in that frame and put it up somewhere and accidentally see it, because I think you'll be surprised that even this 3 weeks that we've spent together, how artistic and how creative and how beautiful some of the things that you've made are. And you're developing your style now, and you need to see your style around you. That's my rant over. That's what I want you to do. Give me a love heart if you agree with that. Let me check how many love hearts I get. Yeah. All right, so I'm going to put that somewhere on my boat to surprise me. And I am going to pause it there. So you have your homework and I'm going to pause it there. Thank you so much for everybody who has already joined up to my course as well. I must mention that the course starts on the 1st of December. There is a group-only bonus, which are going to be these awesome Christmas cards. I've already designing them, and I'm going to have them into the membership section for you early, so that you can start making them now, because you might want to give them with your Christmas gifts. And those Christmas cards are really beautiful. I think you're going to really enjoy them. But also I have a couple of spaces left. There's 20 spaces for the early bonus of a free digital print if you sign up before the weekend, because on the weekend my course is going live to the universe, not to you guys, but to everybody. And those bonuses I can't offer those bonuses to everybody. So those are just for you guys if you sign up now. And I will leave a link to those in the description below. If I have missed your comments, I do apologize. Tomorrow is Friday, and you know we do a Friday Create and Inspire evening. We're going to do something really, really special. I'm not going to tell you what it is yet, but we do have a special visitor who has been doing her own creative journey. She's painted with me before. It hasn't gone well. Have a guess if you know who it's going to be. And also she's a little bit shy. So if you do know who it is, can you please write something encouraging in the comments, because it's super exciting. And she's going to be creating with us tomorrow, because we're going to do a live little creating session, but I don't want to tell you what it is. Super exciting. Make sure you're here, and I will catch up with you on Friday. We're going to keep it at 7 p.m. because that's been really good for everybody, catching up on a Friday night. I will see you tomorrow. Don't forget to share in your group. And also remember, today's motto was stay in the creative zone. Bye.